to Dorian's Corner, where we talk about all things domestic violence. And where I have started was with A to Z journey of domestic violence, just all the different things that I have experienced during that process. So please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video and share this channel so I'm able to grow, so I can get the message out to more people. Okay, so the other videos has A, B, and C that discuss those topics. So A was acceptance, basically accepting where you're at, so you can do something about where you're at, to change your position and get out of that relationship. B was for bitterness. It basically talks about how you feel bitter and just kind of not like yourself at all. You're just not able to find things that make you happy anymore, things that give you joy. C is Christ's love, because that is what I found when I was going through this situation. And it was horrible. It was horrible, but Christ was right there to pull me out of some of the worst days that I've ever had. Today, we're going to discuss D, and D is discouragement. There was a lot of discouragement on this journey. A lot of bad days, a lot of sad days, a lot of time where I just sat and thought to myself, like, why is this happening to me? What did I do to deserve this? Will this ever end? So you almost get to the point where you watch other people and just wonder how their lives are just maybe seemingly perfect, and yours is basically as terrible as it can possibly be. You know, as terrible as you could have possibly imagined. No one would ever dream up of going through something like that. You know, it's not like it's something we say when we're, little girls. We say that we want to grow up and be in a domestic violence relationship. I mean, obviously we do not want that, but somehow we can find ourselves in that type of situation. So this channel is to help people, even if it's one person, just to help you to understand that you do not want to live that way. That is not a good thing. It just changes everything about you. I mean, it really does. It makes you just feel like you're not even a human being anymore, like you're just basically non-existent. And that is a horrible way to feel. So I remember just talking to some of the people that kind of knew what was going on, and they were just sometimes not very helpful. It didn't help the situation. Like, so many people tell you, oh, it's because you're not married. It's like, okay, so now you're not only telling me to stay in this situation, but you're actually saying marry the person that's doing these things to me. I mean, how much sense does that make? So sometimes people give you advice that they really shouldn't give. And when you're dealing with someone that's already discouraged to the point that I was, that's really not something you want to hear, because what you want to do, what your mind is telling you to do, is to leave that situation and run as fast as you can to the first open door. But yet you have people that's telling you to do something different. And sometimes these were people that I held in high regard. Like, some of them were people in church, and it just was very discouraging to hear that coming from people that I thought would be like a helping hand, a shoulder to cry on. But that's just not what I got in return. So I was, basically looking for encouragement, and I was not receiving that. I did eventually, but it took years to get like the encouragement that I felt like I needed in that situation. I remember one day that I went home, and I am out in the park because it feels wonderful out here. So I figured come out here in the park and talk to you from here. But it was one day in particular that I remember. I went home and I didn't realize my sister was still there. I'm not even sure if she remembers, but we had just gotten to a fight, and then I didn't realize I was bruised the way I was, but right here, like both of my eyes, like on this side, on these sides, were dark. So, and I didn't realize that. So I tried to hide it from my sister because I just felt so so terrible that all these things were going on, and I didn't feel like I had anybody to tell. I didn't feel like it was a good time for me to move from where I was at, the location that I was at, because I just couldn't afford it. And that's one of the other things that kind of keeps us in a domestic violence situation, because sometimes we can't afford to move. We just can't. And the thing you do with that is you can seek out shelters. There's a number of those, especially with people that have kids, because it's not always women that go through domestic violence situations. It's not always females, it's males as well. But definitely there are places that you can go, people that you can talk to that help you. Like, you can go to the police station and they'll tell you about different shelters and different places that you can go to get you out of that situation. But going back to that day that I just felt so terrible, I was just so discouraged. And like I said, I knew we got into a fight, but I didn't realize I was bruised, because what he would do is usually things that people couldn't see. So you wouldn't be able to tell by looking at me that I was in a situation like that, because I think he was very smart, and then, smart in that way to where he knew that if the bruises showed, then maybe I'll be more inclined to try to get help and get away from him, because then other people would know and I wouldn't be able to hide it. So what happened is he hit me somewhere in here, but I know I had these two spots, like these two parts were black, and I didn't realize that. So I went home and I was just kind of talking to my sister, and then being my sister, she knew that something was wrong, so we just started talking, and I was kind of hiding my face from her because I didn't want her to see. But then she just kind of looked at me, and just like we just started crying, like, together. And I honestly don't know if she remembers that day, but I definitely remember it. I would imagine she probably does, because that was a very, very low point in my life, that this person, which is my sister that loves me the way she do, has to watch me go through something like that. And I think at that point I still wasn't in the headspace to leave that situation yet. And I think she was partly crying because she saw what was happening to me, and it was very upsetting. And then she knew, in a sense, it's nothing she could do about it until I was ready to leave the relationship. And I think also just seeing, what her sister was going through. I mean, it's a very sad existence. I mean, it really is. Seeing the person that, you grew up with, going through that, you would never imagine that. I would never imagine that for any of my siblings. Never. I would never, ever imagine anything like that. So I would imagine it basically tore her apart to know that, and to just feel helpless in a situation. And that's sometimes how domestic violence just touches onto every facet of our lives. It's not only us that is hurting, it's hurting our family too, because they're going through that with us. Even though they're not in it physically, but mentally, emotionally, they are there with you. They are there. So it hurts them. And I think just knowing how much it hurts them sometimes will be enough to make somebody be like, you know what? Maybe I need to figure out a way out of this. It was so many things that I felt at that moment that was keeping me there. But had I known what I know now, I would have known that you have to figure out a way to get out. Like, you just have to. Like, you have to write down their schedule and find out when you need to leave, when's the best time to leave, when's the safest time to leave. Because going through a situation like that, you just become this other person. You become a shell of yourself. Like you're not even enjoying life anymore. You can like totally forget what you used to enjoy. So that's something I had to learn that. I had to relearn myself all over again when I got out of that situation. I mean, I forgot. Like it sounds insane. It sounds just totally delusional, but I totally forgot some of the things I used to enjoy. And it's just sad even thinking about it, because the person that I was when I was in that relationship, it's not the person I am now. I don't even recognize that person. And just like when I was in that relationship, I didn't recognize myself anymore. I just didn't. I didn't want to be around people. I didn't want to be around big crowds. And sometimes I still kind of go through that sometimes. But I have to tell myself that you're okay, you're fine. You have safe people around you. That's never going to happen to you again, because you're not going to allow yourself to go through it. And God is He's not going to allow you to go through that ever again in life. So it really pains me to see people that are going through that, because I know the signs. I can see that. I can sense the emotions in the person's like laughter, and their smile, and their broken smile, and their broken spirit. I can just kind of sense it, and you just know without a shadow of a doubt, or I know that it's not a good situation for them, you know? And it's hard to watch that, especially with people that you're close to, like with, some family. Like, I can see it. Sometimes you just don't know what to do. But what I would say is continue to pray for them, continue to be a shoulder to cry on. Like, allow them to be in your space, still keep yourself safe, and pay attention to that moment when they're coming to the point where they know they need to leave, because then you can be the most helpful, because you can tell them about the resources, tell them about the National Domestic Violence Hotline. You can tell them about all those things. Tell them about my story. You can have them subscribe and watch my YouTube channel, and you can send me messages and things like that, and ask me questions, and I'll tell you just as much as I can, as much as I know, as much as I have went through. I will share those experiences with you if that means that is going to help someone else get out of that relationship, get out of that situation, because you don't deserve that. No one does. No one does. And if someone cannot treat you well, and treat you like you are the queen or king that you are, then you need to find someone that can, or that will, and don't stay in that situation a second longer. I wouldn't want that for you. Your family doesn't want that for you. God doesn't want that for you. He doesn't. You could do so much more, so much better with your life. You don't want to live in discouragement and just be discouraged all the time and have no energy for the things you enjoy, and forgetting who you are, forgetting who you were before you stumbled upon this relationship. So you want to revert back to the you that you knew, the happy you, the joyful you, the you that was present, and not the you that's always in your head wondering about making the wrong move, walking on eggshells. Okay, so just think about that. Just think about that. Because you want to bring yourself back into the equation. And that's going to involve self-care. And self-care starts with you taking care of yourself and doing the best for you and your family and your life and your future. Because your future is beautiful. It is bright. But you have to get out of the mindset of making excuses for someone that's doing those things to you, because it's no excuse. It's no excuse. If someone cannot handle their anger and they have to take it out on you in that way, verbally, physically, emotionally, however, if they have to take that out on you negatively in that way, then they need to find someone else. They need to work on themselves before they even consider getting in another relationship. And it's not your problem to fix. But sometimes I used to feel like that, like, oh, maybe if I do this, or if I do that, or if I am more understanding, then maybe he'll get better. He'll stop doing these things. But the reality is, that's up to them to stop doing those things. And you don't have to wait around to see if it's actually going to work, if they're going to actually get to the point to where they realize they need to stop doing those things. Your job is to get out, and they can work on themselves. Because truth be told, if that's the way they interact with people, they shouldn't be in a relationship anyway. Because obviously they have not did the work on themselves, and it sounds like they're not planning on doing it. Okay, so it's not your job to wait and see what's going to happen. Because I'll tell you what's going to happen. It's going to get worse. It's not going to get better. It's not going to get better. You get fooled into certain days that seem like they're better. They sometimes only do those things to kind of keep you there longer. Okay, because they keep you in this sense that those good times are going to come back. Well, they don't. And the good times, the bits of pieces that you have, they don't last very long. Okay, so they're going to revert back to their same ways, which is something that's never going to change. Like I said, it does not change. It gets worse. Okay, so remember, we're going to have the domestic violence hotline number on here. And make sure, I'm sorry, this flies with me. So make sure to like, subscribe, and share this YouTube channel. Until next time we meet again, stay safe, stay beautiful, stay blessed. And remember, self-care. You need to take care of yourself. Okay? Thank you. Bye.